I'm fired up and I'm ready to go. I'm fired up and I'm ready to go. I'm fired up and I'm ready to go. This is the Billionaire Brown experience. Let's go.
Flirting. And it's tough because one of the biggest things we do is we hide from each other. Like if we go to the very core of what you're asking, the answer is the couple hiding from each other? Or do they get the magnificent experience of knowing they could say whatever they need to their partner? That's what's magnificent.
Okay. How would you explain lust and love?
Lust and love. Boy, lust. Lust is a sexual trick I think the universe played on all of us so we would procreate, actually. Lust is a sexual experience that happens, fortunately, at the beginning of a relationship. That another term I sometimes use in place of it, although it's not exactly the same, is romantic love. Romantic love and lust and the early falling in love with somebody is a very real experience. It's actually so real that it's a really important experience for teenagers even. A teenager that doesn't fall in love and get their heart broken, actually, that's actually kind of a sign of some problematic issues, actually. So when you look at romantic love, it's like this 3 to 4 month thing, it's a 3 to 4 month thing where in the psychology world, they name it as, it's called your ego boundaries drop, right? And you actually think you're at one with the other person. Now it's interesting because there's this idea that I use, which is called the myth of romantic love. And people usually don't know what I mean by that. And the myth is that it should be there after the 4 months. But it's actually incredibly important what happens in those first 3 to 4 months. You're supposed to feel like the person is pretty perfect. You're supposed to feel that in love feeling. It's really, really important. It's what you can use later in life when you're having actual real difficulty. But one of the reasons we're so confused about it is, you think about Hollywood, and the movies that are put out. I like to make jokes about this sometimes. The end of romantic movies, when the couple finally decides they love each other, that's actually when they finally decide they want to go on a first date. Right? We never see what actually happens after that. So every story is about two people deciding they want to actually spend time together because they feel that they're in love, and then the credits roll. so that's and then love is a completely different thing, right? Love is what happens from 4 months to 99 years, right? Love is sometimes something you feel for the other person, and communication and working out your issues and learning how to listen and minimize defensiveness and criticism and replace it with openness and vulnerability, and learning how to do that throughout a relationship. That's where love becomes a much bigger possibility.
Okay, so in your experience all these years, have you seen lust last longer than those 4 months? And if so, how long?
I have some couples that are 3 years into having sex once or twice a day. I'm thinking of a particular couple, and it kind of boggles my mind. They like each other's bodies and their romance, and but they can't go deeper emotionally. So I'm actually feeling like they got another 6 to 12 months max on that, because there is only one sexual aphrodisiac that is non-addictive, that actually makes sex passionate for decades and decades. And that aphrodisiac is what I call emotional openness.
And what is that?
That means that you can say to your partner what's on your mind, and you can be received and heard and listened to, and then vice versa. Vice versa. A couple knows actually how to resolve and repair conflicts and continuously keep interest in each other and grow together. And that is the only thing that 27 years down the line can make them have eye contact during sex and have it be a powerfully loving experience. All the other things that we use to escalate sexuality and make it good are escalations for the behaviors of sex. You know, I don't care if it's chocolate or oysters or massage or going on a weekend together. All those things are great to keep passion alive, but ultimately, if they don't feel safe to express, the body shuts down and sex goes away. That's why sex is often one of the primary things they complain about when they walk in the room. And it's the funniest thing ever. You know, happy couples in every measurable test have sex once a week at least. Couples that have sex more than that are actually not any happier. They can, it's great. But couples that have sex once a week never talk about their sex life because it's working. And it's actually, and if you ask them how important is sex, they will say, it's kind of important, but there's so many other things that are important. But couples that have sex once a month or less, when you ask them how important is sex, they will say it's the thing that is killing my life. It is killing our relationship that we don't have sex. It's the most important thing there is. So that's always fascinated me, that if it's working, sex is not a big deal. It's a big deal and it's not a big deal. If sex is not working, it's a massive, big problem.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was very interesting. All right. So I was also on understandeachother.com.
Yeah.
And I saw, I didn't want to look at it into detail because I didn't want to lose the feeling of learning from you.
Great.
So you had something on there about pornography.
Right.
How does that affect the relationship? Because you know what, some of my friends who are successfully having great marriages,
right.
Some of them even watch pornography together.
Right.
And some hate it. I have a ton of people in my network. Some like it and some don't.
Right.
What's the truth about pornography, and what do we need to know about that in relationships?
Right. So when women join my group, one of the courses they get is a course called Unmask the Truth of Male Sexuality. And it's 40,000. It's a 40,000 word essay that I am turning into about 75 videos. It's going to be about a 12-hour course on male sexuality and explaining what it is. My goal of that is to help women understand what male sexuality is. I'm not talking about trying to convince them of different things. I'm talking about there is a truth that, if described well, almost every man will shake his head and go, yep, that's pretty much me. That's pretty much what happens for me with sexuality. The problem is men don't share it with women. The problem is men don't have the validation or the backing to explain it to women.
Can you explain it for them?
Well, I'm going to explain the first question you asked. I'm going to talk about. Yes, I can very much explain it. It's going to take 12 hours of video to fully explain it.
Okay, no, but, you could go back to the original then. That's fine.
Yeah. But the male sexuality is something that I think is the most complex thing about men that there is for women to understand. In every area, I think women are a little bit more complex to understand in how they kind of spread out emotions in different ways. And you ask a man, what are you thinking? And a man will sometimes just say, nothing much, right? And a woman, it's almost never the case, right? So a man that watches porn, couples come in here, and sometimes that's, the main problem. He is hiding out and using pornography as his main source of sustenance for sexuality. That's the problem. The problem is that the relationship isn't providing him this kind of sustenance. So healing pornography addiction is one of the most complicated things to heal. And it was very interesting a moment ago, you said, couples that watch porn together. I only have one path that I help couples with, because everything else has been not successful in my career in helping people stop using porn. The only thing that's been successful to help a man do it less is bringing the porn into the relationship and actually experiencing watching porn with his lady and actually being real and talking with her about what it means and sharing it with her. The point of that is it reduces his shame. And it reduces his shame, and what was a major, major addictive thing that pulls him away from his wife or his girlfriend no longer is for that moment. And if he realizes that he can bring that to her and it becomes a dialogue between them, I will tell you, everything can change. I'm at about an 80% success rate with this, with the couples that have been willing to do this. Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay, so what else do we need to know? Like what was the other one? What's something else that we're missing in relationships?
Something else that
like something common that keeps coming in your session. It keeps coming in your session. It keeps coming in your session. It's the most, what's the most common thing that comes into your session?
Yeah. I'll see if I can put a different twist on it, because I'm going to come back to the communication idea for a moment. When you have something to tell me that's bothering you, that I'm a part of, something I've done to bother you, it takes a certain kind of skill for me to hear that you're upset, and for me to know that in your mind is a bit of a red light, right? You have this red light thing that's going on in your mind about me, and you will not have that red light go to green until you hear me say, I'm really sorry I hurt your feelings, and I get how that happened, and I'll take responsibility as deeply as I can for understanding how I hurt your feelings. Now, I'm apologizing for something that I actually may also have a belief that I didn't cause at all, right? It wasn't my fault. I didn't do anything to hurt you. My intention was not to hurt you. I never have an intention to hurt you. I did not step on your foot like you're saying that I did. I did not. And if I come from that place of feeling that I am a bad person or I messed up, then I have us enter an argument. We then enter the most common thing and the most common reason for arguing, which is that you told me something that was bothering you. You told me that I stepped on your foot and your foot hurts. And I actually saw a bottle fall off a table and roll and bounce off your foot. I literally see it that differently. That did not happen. I did not step on your foot. But I have to ask the couple for a moment to just suspend belief about seeing the bottle rolling off the table, to not correct the logistical facts of what actually happened